I have a list of things, and I dabble in this subject, but I'm gonna basically say to you what they are, and you just like give me your opinions on them. So, first of all, aliens, do they exist? As in extraterrestrial life outside the planet, intellectual, interdimensional travel,
sentient and all that
that stuff.
Yeah, statistically, yeah, it has to. It's almost impossible that it, or improbable is the word I should use, that it wouldn't. Yeah.
So the next one is, have they like had influence on Earth, as in primitive cultures, i.e. pyramids, Egyptians, Inca, Mayan, and stuff like that? There, like, you know, building it like Machu Picchu and.
No. Because language, communication, like, assuming that their society, their whole thing took about as long as it did to make us ours, they'd have developed all their own language, all their own form of communication, whatever way that might be.
Yeah, but what they're basically, this all stems from ancient aliens.
Yeah.
And like what I found out about ancient aliens, and basically it's a pile of shit, and there's a thing on, but they try to crowbar in that aliens had everything to do with everything.
Yeah.
And
so couldn't possibly do it on their own.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but they're basically saying that everything has like, it's like their technology is so advanced, as in like they're dealing with like tools, primitive brass and copper tools, and the aliens have laser technology and rockets and you know what I mean?
Aye.
You know, levitation.
Aye.
So like you're talking about extremely advanced.
Yeah, like some like kind of sci-fi level of like advancement, like. No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, basically, there's the guy that like he basically systematically pulls apart like ancient aliens lies about everything. They said that the oldest text, like some text they were referencing was 6,000 BC, and the oldest text in the world to known everyone, like as far as everyone's concerned, is some other text which is like 4,000 BC.
Yeah.
So like that's the oldest text. So they add on tonnage to the rocks that it basically is not even possible. They say that these things can't possibly be moved, but you like there's this guy basically. Well, I'll get onto the Romans bit in a minute, but like basically is like all the stuff about like you can't have tree rollers because there is no trees. It's above the tree line. This place, some Inca settlement, is way above the tree line.
Yeah.
How did they move them? And I was like, and then the guy in the documentary that tears it apart, like you could just walk down the hill till you get trees and just use them.
Yeah.
And then there's another place where all the moa heads come from. Like there's no trees on that island, so it's like, how did they possibly do the moa? Like all that kind of shit. And it's like, well, what they did was like they cut down all the trees on the island, and now basically is when you truck down trees, you get soil erosion. Soil moves about and like has covered up like the bodies of the moa. So like everyone thinks they're just heads, but they're actually bodies as well. And so like that's what you do. You get soil erosion. So basically, because there's no roots like securing the soil down. Yeah. There's another one, where some temple like basically is like way back in like Roman times, was like, you know, obviously it's like a temple of Zeus or something. Can't remember. Can't remember who the god was it was based on. But at least it's been rebuilt a couple of times over the course of history. But there's like basically 3 big stones.
Yeah. And
they're like, this is like blah blah blah, whatever it is. These big stones, like these big stones couldn't possibly get here, blah blah blah. And it's like, they totally can get there, and this is totally reasonable to have these big stones, because basically what it is a retaining wall, because where the thing is, like there's a big hill that's built into, so you have to have retaining walls.
Yeah.
So like this is a retaining wall to keep the soil back, and you need big stones to do it. And they're all like, this is like the launch pad. Like basically it's like the landing pad of the or whatever.
Right.
It's what it's translated as.
Uh-huh.
And like the guy in the documentary goes, this is bullshit.
Absolute
It's not
nonsense.
even anything to do with landing of anything, or the port, or the rocket port or something, and all this shit. And I was like, that's a pile of shit. Gets a guy that's actually the expert in translation. He goes, it actually translated to this. Yeah. Like, you know, this is the actual translation.
Class.
As like from Inua or whatever, who's the god. So basically it's like from from him comes these other things, the life force, earth, and shit like that. There,
Mm.
so it's more to do with gods and stuff. And then there's another, and he goes in. It's not particularly that big of a deal because basically at the same time it was like Herod, like in around the time of Jesus you're talking about.
Yes.
Herod was in Israel, and he rebuilt the temple, where basically Jesus told everybody to get out of, stop like selling and trading and shit.
Yeah.
He rebuilt that to gain favor with the Jews. And when he rebuilt that, he put retaining walls in the foundations. So there's bigger stones, or stones that are as big as the ones that are in this Roman place. So it's literally look down the road into the next country, why don't you? And you'll see that somebody else is using it, at the same time.
Yeah.
And you're not claiming that was built by aliens. So stuff like that there. So basically it tears the aliens apart a bit. And to be honest, I don't know. Another question, I think I seen a thing on the TV, and it was about aliens, right? This was just all week.
Aye.
And I was like, right, well, that's interesting actually, that I was thinking about bringing this up when that was on the TV. And there's just people's encounters, and this girl got abducted, and she said she had like a probe in her neck and shit like that there. And I was like, right, so that's grand. And then it's like, the thing that I was like, this my dad brought up, and it's like sketches of like what they seen, and it's the typical triangle head, skinny, long fingers.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, how come they're all the fucking same? And I was like, well, put it like, well, if you're gonna go on anecdotal evidence, you can take this one or two ways. As all these people have seen this type of like on the Space Invaders crisp packet, this head shape, and or like the joke of this is what an alien looks like.
Aye.
And everyone's seen the same stimulus. So when they're in their obviously REM sleep, and they believe something's happened to them when they're dreaming it, the stimulus is creating this image that everybody's creating the same image because everybody's seen the same image, right? So that's one. The other possibility is that everybody actually was abducted, and the aliens actually do look like that, and that's why everyone's saying that they look like that.
There is kind of another thing in that I feel as though the whole reason that aliens are obviously so interesting is because they're, by their very nature, inhuman. And I think a lot of the reasons why
but still they're humanistic. I wouldn't say they're
humanoid is the word that I might
humanoid, right? Well, fair
I don't want to throw that word around loosely, but I mean I think that's
either the humanoid is the correct terminology. Yes,
I think part of the reason why I think that they all look the same in the way that people describe them roughly is that I think that's the qualities that say the greys, I think, as they call the real typical ones with the round head and the big eyes.
Aye.
It's distinctly like opposite to everything that like Western society at least considers to be human. So smaller eyes, not as round, not as perfectly domed heads, really kind of oddly shaped limbs as opposed to most people who are kind of blocky. You're literally just describing the polar opposite of a human, but kind of close. It's like a step removed. It's like the uncanny valley. It's like all those robots that are almost human but aren't. There's something off about them. So it could be that as well. It's something that everybody just kind of describes quite similarly, and then you add in the whole like it's just like you said, the whole like kind of trope of what an alien looks like, and then obviously everybody sees aliens as being exactly the same. Yeah, because surely like it's surely
it could be either. That's my point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It could be like they actually were abducted, and the aliens, all the aliens that are coming to Earth, are the same aliens because they know where Earth is. So all of the abductions are being done by the same aliens. Therefore, all of the sketches describe the same thing. From different sources.
And if they are as advanced as we would like to assume they'd have to be in order to come here and do all of this stuff.
Well, then you have surely the other side of it, where there's crop circles.
Yeah. Crop circles?
So, like, how the fuck do crop circles happen? And people are saying, we had no idea.
Scooby.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
What I think is fantastic is the convenient lack of remote cameras in these places that crop circles always tend to show up in.
Yeah, surely you'd
stick up a wee motion sensor and catch.
In case someone's going to rob your farm.
Catch the fucking aliens.
In case someone's going to rob your farm even. How about we?
Aye. Anyway.
Funny that.
Right, so next one.
How come no one's taking a picture, by the way, just of an alien with a camera like that? It's always a phone. Or like a
really shitty.
Brutal UFO picture.
Yeah. It's always really shitty quality.
Yeah.
Right. Sasquatch.
What about him? He's good. Man. He's a good man.
Real or
Heard
not
good things
real?
about him. No.
You don't think are real at all? Because
No.
there's people that think they're genuinely real. Like, but people are like lad, no harm, genuine Sasquatch. Like,
I'm pretty sure not that long ago someone discovered a new like element. Something so imperceptibly small that they had to use incredible technology to find it,
Yeah.
and yet no one's got a picture of Sasquatch that isn't really blurry and from really far away. The kind of
Well,
imaging that we
see-
have of the topography of our planet at this stage.
here's the bit, right? So there is one that I would tend to believe.
Right. Okay. Hit me.
One, and it was a helicopter, and there was a camera on the bottom of the helicopter,
Right.
and it was just a normal going about over a couple of hills at pretty high up altitude,
Yeah.
and there's this thing running full tilt
Okay.
up the hill,
Right.
and it looks like a Sasquatch
Right.
sort of a thing, and
There
it's
you
like going like proper legging it,
Yeah, yeah.
but obviously the helicopter flies on,
Yeah.
Right, past it.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, and that one was released, and I would tend to believe that over anything else, because there's this guy, it's on fucking Netflix, and he's lying bastard. Of
course
like,
he is.
He's this fucking like thing is like, hey, I spent years perfecting the art of camouflage, and like in
Class.
fairness, he is really good at blending in.
Yeah.
Like in fairness, he does this thing where he sets up a camera, and you just think you're looking at just like he's about to walk in the frame any minute, and he just sort of stands up right in front of the camera, and you fuck, he come out of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
in fairness, he's good at blending in.
Yeah.
I'll give it to the man.
Sure.
He's got good camouflage tech.
Right.
But he literally does this thing where he's captured like Sasquatch, and it's like, in fairness, gives you chills. Like, even though I'm pretty sure they're fake, it gives you chills because like the way his camera, it's like they're looking through, like there'll be like branches,
Yeah.
and they're looking through, and it's like direct eye contact with the camera, but they can't see him because he's blended in. Is his argument.
Yeah.
And like he says that there's watchers.
Right.
So they'll go up. They're normally up trees,
Right.
so they'll be on trees and they'll watch for people coming in and
Aye.
all that kind of. So a bit like meerkats.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's watchers, and the watchers will signal for everyone to get the fuck out of there,
Right.
type of thing.
Okay.
So that's what he's saying. Like, and sometimes the watchers will chase you, so they'll like throw stones and make
Yeah.
noise and all that kind of shit to freak you out so you run away.
Okay.
There's another one that they do, which is like people say that they operate on different. They do different. They have their tone is sub frequency,
Mm-hmm.
so they can make vibrations with obviously noise,
Yeah.
but it's below our perceptive range. But it's those sort of things that make you really nervy, and it's
Uh-huh.
like, oh fuck, I don't want to be here, so I'm gone. So you'll be like, I have a feeling that I don't want to go down there, sort of thing. So
Okay.
it messes with your senses,
Right.
and then you'll go, I have just a feeling that I don't want to go in here,
Yeah.
and then you'll turn around and leave.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah.
There
Sure.
was one account that I seen. This is all YouTube stuff, obviously, because
Yes.
I'm not going around fucking interviewing people in America. But anyway, one guy, he was a police deputy or whatever, and I think he's pretty high. He ran for sheriff, but he didn't get sheriff,
Yeah.
and he believes they're real. And basically, what he said was like, he experienced something really weird, which was he was setting up these trap cams,
Mm-hmm.
which he never really got anything on. But he set up these trap cam, this like area that he trap cams on,
Yeah.
and he was walking in and he was going to check the cams,
Yeah.
and he just felt like he pulled up at the plane. And he goes, I really just don't want to be bothered checking these cams today.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just feel like I shouldn't be doing it.
Yep.
And he goes, but I ignored it. I went in anyway. And he goes, as he went in, he goes, the feeling just kept getting stronger and stronger that he shouldn't be there.
Right.
And he's like, it's just weird because I've been here 100 times. Like, there's no difference. The road is literally 200 yards away.
Yeah.
To me, this is just another day. But this day, I felt really strange.
Mm-hmm.
So, he like was checking the cams and he's like, fuck, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
And then he heard like rustling. And he's like, that's a bit strange.
Yeah.
So he looked and there was nothing there. And he's like, right, nothing. Went all about his business and he heard more. And he's like, nothing there.
Yeah.
And he kind of, what he caught one time, and he was wearing a cap and he sort of raised it a wee bit, but his eyes were still kind of shaded over.
Right.
And he's like, and I could see like them as I would bring they were going down as he would bring his head up, whatever was watching him.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, I know someone was watching me. So eventually he got the trap open and he got the card out or whatever he was checking and he left.
Yeah.
And he goes, for a week after it, he woke up at 3 o'clock every night.
Right.
And the thought in his head was, stop looking for Sasquatch.
Okay.
3 o'clock on the dot every night.
Interesting.
And this went on for a week.
Yeah.
And then the last day before it stopped, he woke up at 3 o'clock and it was the same sort of thought of this thing. And then he was like, he heard this big howl, this big screech, which they tend to do. But it just, according to the experts, he heard this big screech outside. Like, and he kind of has like it's kind of like a cul-de-sac, but it's surrounded by woods. Sort of like wooded area, kind of. Doesn't that look lovely?
Aye.
And like he was basically like, they were saying to him, we know where you live.
Okay, yeah.
So stop fucking looking. Is the idea.
Aye. Okay.
So, I don't know. It's kind of like, and then there's another guy watching. He tells a couple of good hunting stories. That's why I like he's a pretty good storyteller.
Sure.
About grizzly bears and what happened with him and a big moose and like all this kind of stuff. And he basically has a few stories of like these things. And he goes, I know they're real. You know. So I don't give a fuck if anybody says they're not real because I've seen what I've seen and other people have seen what they've seen and all this kind of stuff. So like, you know, you could fill a football stadium full of people who've seen it. So they don't see nothing. So I don't know. It's strange. It's strange that there's a species out there that is in an area so populated that we still don't have any idea if they're real or not. Yet you have people all the time coming up with sightings.
I'm fairly confident
that they're not.
That it isn't real.
Well, this is important to note. We live in Ireland.
Yeah.
The strangest thing is going to come out is a fox howling like.
Banshee.
Alright, banshee screech boy.
But yeah, you're right.
But a banshee is just a fox going.
Yeah.
Like at night. That
sounds like a woman screaming.
Or a cat. Cat is more probably the cats in heat. Probably
it's more common.
Better common one. That was the bollock like a banshee and stuff like that. There, Irish legends and stuff.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you're right that we're not exactly surrounded by.
Yeah, ours is more mythical and folklore, and we've accepted it as that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that's something. You know, it's hard to say that's something that happens in America all the time. Because then you have other things like the Jersey Devil, and the El Chupacabra, and Wolfmen.
A lot of chat about sort of ritualistic and satanic cults and stuff being enforced as well, like carrying out
weird shit,
sacrifices, like and rituals and
stuff. And also like I would like to think that there's a thing on like in America finding Bigfoot.
Oh dear Lord, yeah.
And it's actually the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life because everywhere they go without fail they find one.
Yeah, that would be the idea of the show, I guess, wouldn't it?
So here's the bit that I don't get, right? So the bit that I don't get is everywhere they go they find one.
Yeah.
And they do this thing where they split up in two groups.
Yeah.
So 2 and 2.
Aye.
And then they do these like howls. And there's wolf-esque but not quite. And they also do this thing where they have these like stick beaters and they hit the bark of trees, which is like another communication technique.
Aye.
So they're baiting on one side, and the other ones are baiting on the other side.
Surely
and
he's
one one's howling,
confused.
and the other one's howling, and then they go, "Did you hear that howl? Was that you guys?" And they say, "Oh no, I didn't." And I just would love it if it was another group of Sasquatch hunters out on another side of the hill howling, and they think the other ones are howling are Sasquatches, and they think they're Sasquatches, and back and forth. There's one episode that I knew it was bollocks straight away because there's this big open. They said this was this big opening, a big like 2 acre square with no trees, and they
Yep.
say this is a Sasquatch highway, and the grass is up to your shoulders. And there's this one guy called Bobo, and he's a big Native American guy,
Uh-huh.
and he's the most dry cub you'll ever see. And he talks, and his bottom jaw only moves, and none of the rest of his face moves.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll deadpan and be like, "So I was on," and like just only his jaw is moving, nothing else.
Uh-huh.
So it's like he's so dry, and it's like I love watching him because he's so funny. And then like he had a night vision camera, like a thermal camera, and he goes, "Oh my god, I've got one in my sights in the thermal cam."
Yeah.
And then so he's in the thermal cam. You see the thermal image, and I'm like, finally, this is the moment where I will know. It's open field, right
Yeah.
in the middle of the field. He has to move to get away from the camera. So, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Went on a break, commercial break, came back from the commercial break. Big tense moment. Oh, I got him in my sights, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, what's he doing, Bobo? And all that kind of stuff. And he goes, oh, man, he's gone. I lost him. And it just goes back to the thermal imaging cam. And there's nothing there. But he was recording the whole time. I was like, bullshit. Pile of shit.
It's almost as if, and I haven't swore this entire episode, that it's all a big pile of height.
Oh, that show
All
is
of it.
massive pile of shite, yeah.
What a load of dung. No.
See, there's a part of me that I would like them to be real.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'd like them to be real. I'd like aliens to be real.
I don't know if I'd like aliens to be real.
I'd kind of be all about it if I even believed in ghosts.
Well, that was what I was getting on to the next. Like, do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah. Also, I have like 10 minutes or 15 minutes left to like
Sure.
wrap this up just as a wee sideline.
That's grand.
Say 6:30 is probably my.
Okay, that's fine.
But anyway, yes.
Yeah, we've went on for...
Yeah, it's been an hour and 23 minutes. Although we probably had about 7 or 8 minutes of dead air. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
so I
like-
was just thought that was a pretty cool wee thing. I think we should, if we ever get guests on, we should should have them list of questions
Yeah, that'd be kind of
for
cool.
yes or no's.
They should get them to bring in a list of questions as well. Just...
Ouija board, bullshit.
I personally think it's a big pile of dung.
I'm scared of it.
I
don't trust it.
do have one interesting thing that a lot of people bring up, and I think it might be similar to that whole like alien thing, where it's just something that they've picked up through like, you know, media and stuff. But there is apparently, and I can't remember the name, and it's really annoying me, but this one demon that's always answering.
Oh, it's Bobo or
Yeah,
Zozo
something like
or
Bobo.
Zuzu.
Zozo, that's the one.
Yeah,
Z-O-Z-O.
Z-O-Z-O, yeah.
That's the one that apparently keeps like appearing, and that kind of freaks me out, even though that I know that if you know that, then you're more likely to be like
Yeah.
subconsciously making it like
Happen,
moving the thing to represent that. I do think they're a big pile of dung. My dad will have none of it. It terrifies him.
I have none of it. I'm out.
I just don't touch it.
I can't watch The Exorcist. I can't watch
Really?
it.
Does it freak you out really
It
badly?
freaks me out really, really badly. And everyone's saying, actually, such a sad horror film, lad. It freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah, it's
like
it's
I'm
mad, like-
scared of it. My mom was watching The Exorcist one night, and I was like, I am out of here. No way. Walked in. Oh, what are you watching? The Exorcist. See you later. Like, you know, no way. Boy.
I mean, Linda Blair's kind of fit. I mean, even if you like, do you believe in like ritualistic magic that it would work? Maybe in under certain circumstances and certain types.
Here's my thing. And this, I'm going to end this podcast on a quote from Albert Einstein.
Oh dear Lord.
There are forces in the universe that I will never understand and humanity will never understand, and
Okay.
they will never be explained ever. And I hold these forces in great esteem and respect. That's all I'm saying. I'm not fucking questioning it. I don't tend to go into space. If I get maybe the chance to go to the moon, that'll be cool. That's it. Like, that's as far as it goes. I don't think we should be probing deep space.
What? Just in case.
Just in case. I don't think, to me, lad, fly under the radar to fuck.
Yeah, just keep it.
Reckon people are always like, oh, let's send a satellite into space with the coordinates of Earth. Let's not.
How about we don't, buddy?
How about we fucking don't?
Dio, yeah, right enough. That's mental. That's basically just being like,
Come on, fucking invade us.
yeah, man. That's ridiculous.
Jesus. How about we don't?
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. Like, you're just asking for trouble, if there is any trouble to be had. Like, I don't know which scares me more. actually, when I think about it, like existentially, at least anyway, there being something else out there, or there being nothing.
Nothing.
Like
I would be totally happy with nothing.
when I think about it though, when I like try to wrap my like tiny little human brain around the vastness of space, it does freak me out a little bit. Not like in like a my god man, but in like kind of like a
Would that not freak you out? Because more along the lines of, if there's nothing else out there, God seems more likely.
not really. It doesn't really make it more likely for me.
Why not? Because there's literally only one then. It's like literally this technically is the utopia of the universe.
Yeah,
If
but
there's nothing else out
that
there.
stands to reason for me, based entirely upon how unbelievable the circumstances had to be in order for life to be created in the first place. Like, it wouldn't shock me if there was literally nothing else out there as developed as us. Like,
I'd be pretty happy if there's nothing else out there.
I mean, I'd be fine with it. Like,
Mostly because I never found out and I couldn't give a fuck if there was.
yeah, I don't really fancy being invaded either. If they do happen to be malicious and be really like developed enough
Well,
to
if
be
you
able to get
believe
here.
ancient aliens, they already have invaded.
Well, they
so
have
who
done.
gives a fuck?
But they were helpful.
Well, how do you know that? Another theory is that
They were the extinction event.
yeah, well, there. You say that.
No, can't
But-
prove it wrong, can it?
Yeah, you can't prove it wrong, but like the other theory is that Earth has been purposely created by another, like, there's a word for this theory, I can't remember what it is, but Earth has been created by another set of beings as just a test,
Yeah.
like the ultimate experiment.
Yeah.
Social experiment of, if like we give these things, what will happen,
Yeah.
type of thing. So obviously so if that is true, and like, they could have come down and give a certain amount of knowledge away about pyramid positioning and
Yeah.
how to do things, not necessarily levitate blocks, but they could have like given a certain amount of
Yeah. Okay.
info,
Yeah.
just to see how things would pan out, and then like probably what would happen in the future. Would we question our own existence to the extent of being manipulated by someone else for
Yeah.
a test? Doesn't make us any less people, and everybody should be treated as equals. That's a nice segue back to my original point. So, hope you enjoyed this episode of Stupid Proof. And there's a bit of delay on the episode 5 audio. I've been a busy boy, but I've got Matthew Mack on the ball on that one. He's basically the editor now. So, that's it from us. Follow us. Don't forget, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing if you're on YouTube. Thanks for following us on Spotify and subscribing on iTunes. All free. We're a free entertainment service for you. The only people we'll rip off are the sponsors, if we ever get any. So,
Hint.
please sponsor us. So, there you go. We should actually, I wonder if we could actually we should probably like go down the route of trying to get a sponsor at some point.
Who?
Just see if it'll work.
Yeah, I guess so. Audience would be good first.
But like, let's like, just to see if it'll be good. Just to see if it will work. Just to see if you emailed someone, say, here, we have a podcast, will you sponsor us?
Yeah.
Just to see if they might go, aye, why not?
I mean, it worked when we were in Serpent. We emailed a clothing company from London and we're like, we'll wear your shirts and stuff. And they were like, yeah, whatever, what's your sizes? And they sent us some shirts. It's pretty tight.
Oh yeah, that's them. They were cool shirts.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Regardless. Hope you enjoyed the new fancy audio.
Yeah, we got brand new mics. I forward my apologies for the previous podcast. The few there, the audio was really bad, but the audio should be crisp and clean now with these brand new mics that I spent money on. So that's it from us.
As usual.
Graham McKinstry's on Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
He does gigs.
I do.
Hire him.
You
Well,
can
actually, don't, because he's busy enough as it is.
hire me. You can find me on Instagram also, and out the back of the Castle Court Shopping Centre selling CDs on Sundays.
You don't do that, do you?
No.
All right, okay. I was wondering now. You said it very believable.
As
So-
usual, do your own research. Don't be sheep.
Happy days.
Ruined it.
I always say happy days.
I hate you so much.